Hello everybody and welcome back to A Slice, A Spice, and A Dice movie reviews and all things horror. Y'all, if you've been following me, if you looked at the damn thumbnail, you already know what time it is. Y'all, I got up this morning, it's a Sunday morning that I'm recording this, to watch the finale of Dexter New Blood. So again, the way I'm going to do this video, I've got my little notes on my phone right here. I'm going to kind of just do a little recap of it. We're going to talk along the way. Now this one obviously is a little bit different because it's the very last episode, right? So I do want to talk about some character arcs, stuff like that along the way. So that's it. This is kind of just like a conversational type piece. I don't really do these videos like highly edited or anything. So just go on and grab the seat on the sofa and join in. Now also, total spoiler alert, y'all. Okay, we're talking about the finale here. So if you haven't watched that, don't watch this because I'm going to be talking about that. Possibly some other shows too that I want to draw some similarities to, and I'll give spoiler alerts for those. Anyways, let's start. So, y'all, this episode did not disappoint, okay? I mean, right off the damn rip, I was glued to the edge of the damn sofa the whole time, and this whole time I was like this, I was like, no. So, let's start here. So, she arrests Dexter right off the rip, okay? We saw this coming. We knew this was going to happen on some level, right? The way it went down, okay, whatever. So here's my thing. So they go back to the station and she starts questioning him on video, you know, like they do, interrogate him, whatever you want to say. And in usual Dexter fashion, he pretty much has an excuse and an alternate theory for what she's saying, which you can tell kind of makes her maybe question herself a little bit, right? Because she's just like, the things he's saying does make sense. And Logan, the other officer, is there listening, and he is like, yeah, you know what? But she also knows all this other information. She knows he's really Dexter Morgan. She knows all these other little pieces, right? And this will come to one of her character arcs that we will see. All this will draw into that. So she's not backing down at all. Now she ends up calling Batista, and this is the part that I was like, I'm gonna die. And so, you know, she calls Batista and she's like, hey, you know, what was up with the Bay Harbor Butcher? And he's like, well, yeah, you know, my ex-chief girlfriend, whatever, Maria, she thought it was another person. Who? Dexter. So then the chief of police sends Batista the picture of her and Dexter together. His mouth hits the floor. When did you take this? Last month. Dexter's in my jail cell right now. The whole 9 yards, right? Okay, I was on the floor there, and we're going to come back to that piece in a little bit. So then she brings him out later again for questioning. And basically puts it all out there, like, look, this is how, and she calls it out. I me's she's got him, right? We know that she knows exactly how this went down and that he is the Bay Harbor Butcher, okay? So she's doing all this, and you can tell, I'm like, how is he going to get out of this? Like, how is he going to get out of this? But usually that you can see an out for him, but this one's getting really slippery, where I'm like, dude, yeah, I don't know. Now, before we get too deep into that aspect, remember, before, like, all this went down, whatever, Dexter has talked to Harrison, is basically like, look, you know, we have to leave. And so this is planting the seed also, because you see Harrison being like, but my friends are here, you know, and you see this almost like this good and evil type thing, right? And so one thing that I think with that character arc, we're talking about Harrison's, is the fact that I think a lot of us can identify with that if we've ever moved during childhood or been uprooted from friends or had friends move away. It can be very traumatic, right? And so he's kind of like wanting this life of normalcy. And we do see Dexter really getting into the idea of training Harrison. Like, Dexter's really into that probably a little bit more than he should be. And so it all kind of comes to a head where it's like, okay, now you've pulled Harrison into this. Harrison wants normalcy. You're like, oh, we got to move to LA. You know, this is what we have to do. So that's all going on in the background. Okay, so fast forward back to Dexter. He's in jail. You know, they're kind of coming to him in a way of like, you can tell Logan's more like, I'm doing my job, but you know, what if he didn't do this? So when his chief of police girlfriend brings him back in, you know, in the evening time to question him, and it's like, hey, look, you know, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher, Okay, when Dexter tells her about Kurt, and he's like, trust your gut, you need, you were right, and da-da-da-da, and you need to go to his property, and this is where you're going to find, his trophy shed, is where he does his stuff. And she's like, damn, I have to go now. Okay, so I want to stop there for 1 second. One thing with her character that I think is just ironic for this is that Dexter is sitting there, and she is trusting her gut, right? And she's trusting it, and she is arresting Dexter. Now, mind you, she was, the Kurt thing was there. She hadn't pieced it all together. Eventually, that was probably going to happen. I would think, with all the other stuff going on. But I just find it interesting that Dexter is like, trust your gut, go do this. It's a total ruse for him. He's just trying to buy himself time, finagle things, yada, 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 right? But I do think it's interesting to see that level of manipulation that he's doing to try and get himself out of trouble, and kind of going into her own little private battle she has or whatever. So there's that. Okay. So all that's going on. So let's just go ahead and talk about her going there. So she goes there. She finds this. And you're just like, oh my God. Now, here's my thing. I was waiting for Dexter, because we'll talk about, obviously what he's doing over there. He's escaping jail. And we'll talk about the dynamics of that in a second. The whole time that was going on, I was like, Dexter's going to walk around the corner. He's going to kill her down there. Like, that's what I thought it was going to be at first. So when she gets out, she's calling everybody, and she puts it together. Wait, Logan, he's been in the jail, da-da-da. Well, in the meantime, Dexter has, run a game on Logan and killed him to escape. Called Harrison, is like, Harrison, you have to meet me here, da-da-da. So on and so forth. So when all that pops off, and this is me, I'm like, oh my God. Because I was like, he's going to kill Logan, and he's going to go kill her, and then he's going to clean it up, and they're going to escape. That's where my mind was going, right? Once she put this together and finds Logan, I'm like, oh, this is bad. Like, this is bad, right? So there's all that going on. Now, let's talk about the confrontation with Harrison. Okay. So Dexter tells Harrison, meet me where we saw the white deer. And there's that. So they meet there, and Dexter's basically like, we have to go, and he has blood on his face. Harrison puts two and two together and is like, wait, whose blood is that? It's not yours. Is Logan dead? Why hasn't Logan done this? He figures out that Dexter has killed Logan. And this is where Harrison is like, wait, no, this is not right. So here's some of the dynamics that really stuck out to me. To me, Harrison calls Dexter out in the way that he's like, you know what, this dark passenger thing, he's like, I don't have these urges because of my dark passenger. I have them because of you. And it's so true, right? Dexter, if you look at the people that surrounded Dexter that did love and care for him, I mean, at the end of the day, Dexter is a serial killer, right? A very prolific serial killer, regardless if he's killing people that deserve to be killed, right? You know what I'm saying? This vigilante thing, it doesn't matter. He is a serial killer. And one thing that this episode, this season, showed us, I think, is he is a little bit more into it than he would let on. He likes being a vigilante, right? I do think that it's tinkered back and forth with it, him treating it like the dark passenger. Oh, I have to do this. This is an urge to that. But in this season, I felt like we saw that other side that really crept through of he enjoys driving the dark passenger, as Harrison said. So when they're having this argument, and I'm putting my phone down, it's getting serious, I'm going to use both my hands to talk. So when they're having this argument, and Harrison's calling him out, and again we're seeing where Harrison is like, he wanted normalcy. He wanted a normal childhood. He wanted a father. He wanted all this. And you see Dexter saying, well, I need you and all this. And it's like this role reversal, right? Because now Harrison is leaving Dexter. And you kind of see this isn't going to end well. Harrison has the gun. He's like, you have to turn yourself in. He pulls the gun on his dad. And I'm thinking, someone's going to die here. I don't know if Dexter's about to kill his son. His son's about to kill him. But this is, oh my God. This is really intense. So that's going on. And so then when Dexter's basically, to me, where you're seeing a true emotional reaction come from his character, and he's thinking back to all these people that he has harmed and done wrong, by just being himself, his sister, these people along the way, the casualties. I'm like, wow, it's like this full circle, and Dexter's saying, this is like, his voice or whatever. This is the first time he really felt love or whatever. And he tells Harrison, take the safety off. And he's basically saying it's the only way. Like, you have to kill me, right? So Harrison pulls a trigger, he shoots him. Okay, now let's pause for 1 second. And this is going to be a spoiler alert for the show Breaking Bad. So if you haven't watched that, whatever, just close your ears for a few seconds. If you remember at the very end of that show, I can't remember the character's name, the dad, the husband, the father, the drug dealer, main drug dealer, when he finally admits to his wife that he did enjoy it, he liked doing it. Because remember, the whole show was like, oh no, I'm doing that, it's just for my family and did that. And he finally admitted to that, and it was like such a fulfilling, like, oh, thank God, right? He admitted to that. Okay, so there's that. Spoiler alert's off for that. This reminded me of that, this ending, this kind of like tidying up loose ends. Even though I don't feel like we like 100% got that from Dexter, it was almost like through actions we saw that, right? It was almost like this, yeah, he's not as much of a vigilante as he wants you to think. It might be he's killing certain people, but he's into this. And especially his need to kind of like, through his selfishness, continue to ruin Harrison's life, right? Because that's all that was going to be. It's like you're uprooting him to take him to LA, and it's like, I need you, we can go do this and we're going to be vigilantes. I mean, really? Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? So that part I was like, wow. So those two similarities right there. So when Harrison kills him, and then moments later the chief of police shows up, she takes a hit. She's like, go get out of town, take this money, and then she calls the thing in. I've been involved in an officer related shooting. And so then Harrison's leaving. He sees the book bag. It has the letter in there that Dexter had written his mother, right? And it's talking about, and the last line of it was like, I have to die so my son can live, or something like that. And it was about this whole thing with his relationship and all this kind of stuff to Harrison. And you see Harrison going through the town and seeing all these things, and I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, it's so true. It's like Harrison's character, it was almost like you came to, I at least came to this thing of being like, yeah, Harrison's not a killer. He's really angry because of Dexter and what Dexter did to him. Like, he's aware of that, right? You know what I'm saying? And rewind. Remember when meaning Harrison and Logan were eating dinner, and Logan was like, you were around town that time, is there something you could say that would give us insight? And he had that flashback to the deer thing, remember that? Seeing that go down or whatever? Okay. And he was like, I wasn't in town then. He could have 100% said right then and there, well, yeah, I was at the house all day with Dad. Right? So it gives this whole thing of, whoa, how pre-designed was this? You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of vibe. So that's what I got from it, at least. So seeing Harrison move on and go along, I'm like, I mean, it was like, ugh, okay. Seeing Dexter's, the chief of police, go and find out, like, get this answer to her question, like, Kurt's been killing. She finally solved the case, like, oh my God, he's been killing all these people this whole time. Not only that, but she can also trust her gut that Dexter, she was right about Dexter. So there's these two things that she was right about. So it makes you want to see that she learned to trust her gut. Okay, so there's those things. Let's talk about some loose ends. Okay, so first things first, let me say this. And again, I don't know if I haven't read the books. I don't know if there was any kind of thing, there might be another thing. Like, I haven't read any theories about if there's going to be another season, any of that. So here's a couple of things. Do I feel like the show tidied up Dexter's story for me and I'm satisfied with it? Yes. Do I love watching Dexter and the storylines? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I think it would be a little bit of a stretch to bring him back again? Yeah, I do. I just feel like his character arc is complete to me. I don't need to see more of it. It would be pointless to me at this point. I could see them if they wanted to resurrect him. Even though he looked like he was bleeding out and all that type of stuff, there was no confirmation of, yep, he's officially dead. I don't think so. But I could see them leading it off at, okay, well, actually he survived and he's incarcerated and this whole thing, but it would be such a, where do you go from there, right? Okay, so that being said, Harrison, Batista, chief of police. There are other, what I consider to be, we can connect the dots if we want to, right? We know Batista's on his way. He is going to probably see all this evidence that says, oh my God, this was Dexter this whole time, yada yada, so on and so forth. It shines this whole new light. And when she was talking to him on the phone, we could kind of see that realization, right? So there's that. Harrison, I am going to want to know in 10 years where he is. What is he up to? He's the next one that's gone on and you're like, well, what's he going to be up to? What's he doing? What kind of damage would that cause to somebody? Where did he go from there? I mean, he's in high school, for God's sakes, and he took a pocket full of money from a cop in his dad's truck and just hit the road. So I do think if they wanted to do some kind of spinoff, they totally could. Now again, some of y'all might be privy to some information that I'm not sure about or whatever. But again, I just kind of leave off saying I feel like the storyline for Dexter is complete to me now. I feel like, yeah, it might be interesting to see him going through, court and all this kind of stuff. And maybe they could do another season of that. Maybe they could do it where like, oh yeah, he survived the bullet shot and da-da-da. I mean, I don't think so, but we'll see. Anyways, y'all, this has been so much fun going through this with y'all. I am dying to know what y'all think of this last episode. And so that's it. Drop in the comments. Thank you. Again, let me know if there's another show going on that y'all want me to watch. I'm going to try and do Yellow Jackets. Obviously, it's a little bit different because it's going to be ending too, but I want to go back and watch it because so many people said to check it out. So that's it. I hope y'all are well, and until my next movie binge, I'll talk to you soon.